And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the bottom line. We are on time today because this man is dressed properly. That's what it's about.
Oh.
That's what it's about right there. As Billy Crystal used to say, it's better to look good than to feel good. And you know who you are. And there you go. That's you right there.
I appreciate that. That's very true.
I'm here for you. Just want you to know that. Wow.
A lot going on.
Just crap. I'm still mad. I feel like Mad Max from John Boy and Billy. I'm still mad about stuff, and I shouldn't be mad. I am, because the more I see it, the more information it leaks out, and the more – and I told my daughter this last night. We were talking, and she's a Chapel Hill graduate. Got her master's, two of them, one from App, one from ECU. And then she's working on her doctorate at NC State. But she's still a diehard, Tar Heel, period. So we were talking about the NC State thing, and I was explaining to her that I'm not going to say the fix is in, but I think sometimes things are manipulated to get to certain points because, as I say, my favorite word, consistency, was not applied in this circumstance. And I say that because they had all of this stuff with the 18 kids that were on the field, okay, with the exposure. But there were 23,000 fans on top of each other, hollering, spitting, sweating, no mask, no testing, no nothing.
It's outside. But
what I'm saying is, in the same venue, and yet you wanted to apply this. And then so many people were talking about, well, if they'd just been vaccinated. Well, two of the cases were from 4 kids that were vaccinated, so you can't go there. Here's the deal. Here's what you got to do. And I'll say this, and I'll say it over and over again. Just like John Rahm, when that PGA tournament starts on Thursday morning, testing is over because the exposure has already been done. If there's damage, that damage has been done. Just like when they pulled the player out of the 7th inning in the World Series. Why? Once you've got there and once you're around other people, stop the testing. Stop the testing. They didn't test anybody in the crowd. If it is an airborne type virus, it could have come from somebody in the crowd. Nobody is testing them. You got to stop and play by the rules. And the rules should be everything is treated the same, and they're not doing it. Now, I think, this is what I think. I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Right, as well you should be.
Okay?
Okay.
And I will further explain as I've told this story before. Dennis, good morning. Richie, good morning. I think they wanted to make sure, based on last year, that Vanderbilt had an opportunity to really defend that title. I don't think it's an SEC thing because the SEC is not a baseball powerhouse, not in my opinion. Most of your baseball powers, I think, come more from the West Coast than they do from the SEC. Just me. That's just me. And I don't know baseball. So there you go. Feel free to blow that up. That's fine. But I think they wanted Vanderbilt to be able to defend that title. And I don't think they wanted an unranked Cinderella story stepping on that. And I'll go back, and I thought I had told my daughter this story before, and she said, Milton, good morning. When Clemson was investigated and put on probation after they won the national championship, Maiden's favorite son, Jamie Pope, was one of the top ones that turned him in. He told me he did. He gave him my contact information. Okay? I told the investigator when he came, I had nothing to say, but he was welcome to come and meet with me, which he did. And I told him that if Clemson were 6-5 and did not win a national championship, he would not be sitting in front of me, and they would not be under investigation because they're not an annual power. Because it goes on everywhere. Texas, Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, all the big boys, USC, UCLA, all of them. And he said, that's not the case. I said, you're a liar. It is. And it's the same thing here. This was 39 years ago when this happened to me that I was interviewed. And I still stand by what I say. It would not have been an issue if Clemson were 6-5. He would not have been sitting in front of me. Because some of the things that went on were things like shoes, a jacket, maybe a little cash. Not the kind of cash that was passed around to other places. And I've said this before. I got more stuff from other people than Clemson. So what I got that was not, quote unquote, legal came from other places. And I would not tell him anything. And I think if it happened then, almost 40 years ago, the same thing's happening now with NC State. I'm not a State fan. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I don't like to see people get screwed. And they got screwed. It's just that simple.
Yeah, so a couple things. Number one, it's absolutely terrible. And, you know, the reason that it's so bad is because expectation was not set. Nobody knew going into it that if so-and-so tested positive or this, that, or the other, that it would be deemed a no contest. The general consensus, based on what I understand and what I have heard almost, directly from the involved parties, is that if someone tested, they were to sit out. Now, some very good points have been brought up. What do you do with bad weather? You wait, right? Why not wait 4 days? Other things that you mentioned, they were testing people that have been vaccinated. Okay. So apparently
throw that vaccination thing out the window.
Well, it didn't matter.
Because I heard that argument from people saying if the coach had done his job and made sure his players were vaccinated.
It's not up to the coach to do his job.
But some of them were vaccinated, and it still didn't make a difference.
Listen, the vaccination is a personal choice. So if you don't like it, get over it.
That's correct.
Okay? So we need to move on from that.
That's correct.
Well, yeah, but if you did that, you can say that about
anything
situation that comes up. So, so anybody that says that, you know, or even believes that, okay.
And you still never took into consideration any false positive. You just knee-jerked and made it happen.
Word of advice, do not say that to me. If you do, we're going to be in a deep, long discussion. And you're not going to like it. Because I'm not going to stop until you leave. Okay? That's a bunch of you know what. The other thing is this. Your points are very, very valid in wanting desired outcomes. Okay? When Coastal Carolina won it in 2016, it was a great story. But that story only needs to be met once every great while. It's like Butler almost winning 2 national championships.
Right.
Don't like it. They don't like it. It upsets the apple cart. If one thing we have learned in our country the last 5 to 7 years is those that are in charge don't like the apple cart upset. Okay? We have seen
predetermined outcomes or at least setups that they would like to see.
And trying to do, you know, and people would say that's not true. They didn't follow the rules. They did this. They didn't do that. Okay, so you're telling me that it's okay to suspend NC State, but they were on the field with another team, and that other team, there's no problem.
Right.
This is incredible. And it's very sad.
And with Vanderbilt twice.
Right, and it's very sad, okay? And, you know, it goes back to that premise of, you know, we receive in direct proportion to the value and the contributions that we make, okay? Vanderbilt makes a tremendous contribution to NCAA baseball. It is an amazing story. Do they get favoritism because of that? Some people say yes. I think Corbin's amazing. I think he's maybe the best baseball coach in the world. Okay? He's just that good. Things just don't seem right with this, but yet the people in charge would rather be criticized by the fans than they would be by the people that are above them and in charge and push narratives. Okay? So the one thing that we know, Lanny, is this. A lot of times we like to say that things are science-based. But those things change, as we've seen in the last year and a half. It may be based on the narrative.
Milton makes a great point, and it's becoming more and more evident in that the NCAA is kind of like NASCAR. They make the rules up as they go along to change and kind of force the direction of where things go.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. There are many more questions that will never be answered because they don't have to answer anybody else.
Lift up the rug and sweep it.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's just I hate it for the kids. That's the part.
Well, and the players work so hard, the coaches work hard, and all the other people that contribute to it, the trainers, how hard, people say, oh, listen, it is a collaborative effort to get a team to any type of championship. It's not because the coach has the best play calling ability or calls a bunt or puts a bunt defense on that that they don't know is coming and be able to backpick a run. Yeah, I mean, just it has nothing to do with that. Okay, it's all about the process and everybody involved in that. To the trainers, the team doctors, everybody that puts that effort in, and then this happens. Now, yes, we understand that it is that this is a pandemic. Okay, and all this, but at the same time, you got to be able to function. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know why you don't wait 2 days. And if you got to do testing, like you said, if you have to do it, then test them again. How many false positives have come out?
Oh, I know.
In the last year.
Yeah.
And you're going to have those when you do a massive amount of testing. It's all about that.
Ask you a question because this question came up Saturday. I asked Juju yesterday. He couldn't answer it. I'll ask you. What if – I'm going to throw what if out there. What if NC State had beat Vanderbilt and then they did the post-race inspection, the testing, and said, well, you got too many kids that's got the virus. Would they have moved Vandy on?
No.
Would the championship being between Texas and Mississippi State because nobody else left?
Likely. And the thing about it is, the one thing that I think we all need to remember is that when you test positive, that means that or theoretically, it means that the virus is present. It doesn't mean you're infected with it. And then there's the great debate about if you're not infected, can you really pass it on? This week it may be yes, next week it may be no. There's so many unknowns.
And to answer your question, Richie, no, they did not do the bubble. There was not a bubble in this like there was in the basketball.
There's no need to do one. There's people vaccinated.
Here's the thing. Whenever you start a contest, and I'll say this over and over and over, whenever you start something, unless you shut down the whole thing, you can't pick and choose who you want to shut down. For example, if NC State, if they shut them down, then everybody they came in contact with should have been shut down. They should have put the fans out of the stadium, just like in the golf. When John Rahm had played 3 days with different people, been in different venues, they had no idea on his contact tracing. He was the only guy they took out.
Yeah.
Why didn't they take out his playing partner on Saturday because of contact tracing?
Yeah.
Why did they not do that? That's the part that I don't like. When you pick and choose who you're going to apply the rules to, you have to apply the rules equally. So, you have to.
No, I agree. And so let's go back to the vaccine thing. What does it mean when you get the vaccine? Does that mean you're immune to it? No. What that means is if you get sick, there's a much less likelihood that you go to the hospital or develop.
That's what I said.
So
yesterday.
Why would somebody say, well, everybody should have been vaccinated?
See, that's what
why
I said
would you
yesterday.
Say that?
I said this yesterday.
I tell you what, dude, okay, I've got a lot of friends out there, so I'm just going to stop with that. But why would you say that?
Here's the thing. I said this.
That's
I said this
unbelievable.
yesterday. I have had the vaccine. I take a flu shot. I've had the pneumonia vaccine. I've had the shingles vaccine. Not that I don't think all of that's going to protect me from it.
Sure,
that has nothing to do with it. It's
sure
just to cut the severity, if possible, down is all it is. That's all it is. If I get the virus and I've had the vaccine, I'm just hoping it don't kill me. It may put me down for a couple weeks, but that's the reason you do it. There's the vaccines for the stuff that we're getting today because of what we're dealing with are not 100% foolproof. We're not talking about polio. We're not talking about, TB. We're not talking about the stuff from years gone by. The stuff we're dealing with now, we're trying to put something out there to lessen the severity of it. And if you're getting vaccinated thinking, hey, I'm good to go, then you're in for a rude awakening. I know people, close people, friends that had it after the vaccination. And from what they went through, had they not had the vaccination, it could have probably been tremendously more severe.
Right.
So understand what you're doing. But back to what I'm saying, you can't pick and choose who you're going to punish. Now, let me take a break, and when we come back, I want to continue because I want to get your take while I got you good and fired up here. Two great topics. I'm going to get you all fired up. Charlotte 49ers are the first university in the area to get out in front of this NIL. They have hired a firm to help them brand their athletes and walk them through this procedure, which means just like attorneys, and if you're an attorney, I apologize, it just puts another layer for somebody to make some money. Let me take a break, and we'll be back.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, welcome back. It helps I turn my mics on.
Hey, man. Nice
Hey,
music,
thank
bro.
you. Little Zep
Like
type tune back in there. Richie works in healthcare. He said that's what the vaccination is for. It will not stop you from getting the virus. It dampens the symptoms and helps for a speedier recovery.
It allows you to function in society.
Pam Lackey, good morning. Richie said the vaccination will hopefully lead to an eradication like it has with others, but the key to that is what Milton said. It's called herd immunity. And
all of that is true. All of that is true.
Stacy, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Andrew, good morning. Lindsay, good morning. Tim Lawing, good morning. Lindsay has had the shingles. Carrie Edwards, good morning.
Lindsay's had it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bless her heart.
And I had chickenpox as a kid, so you're more vulnerable to it. And I had to wait till I got 60 because it was a very expensive vaccination when it first came out, unless you were a certain age. And then once you got to a certain age, insurance would take care of it and that kind of thing. But anyway, let me go one more thing before we leave the virus topic, and then I'll go to the 49ers. And tomorrow, talking about the name, image, likeness, the NCAA has accelerated this process of getting a policy out there, and they're doing it tomorrow, voting on it. Committee recommends, and they're going to vote on it because July 1st, there's 19 states take effect. So if the NCAA doesn't get in front of it, then everybody's going to – it's the Wild Wild West. Everybody's going to do what they want. There's a quarterback out of Wyoming that's already developed his own logo. There are other guys that are coming up with their shoes and their clothing lines and all this kind of stuff. It is going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. I'll read what the 49ers did, and then I'll let you listen to it.
So wonderful.
Before we leave the virus topic, this came out last week, and it's the only one that I know of. And that is Lenore Ryan announced that every person that comes on campus, student, faculty, whatever. Now,
ball games?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Got to be consistent, Landon.
But students, all students and faculty will be vaccinated at Lenore Ryan. That's mandatory. Okay. Now, that's the first university that I have seen, and I know there's already some school systems that have looked at that, can't decide.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. You already – here's how they're going to get by with it, though, You already have X amount of vaccinations that you have to have for education.
Sure.
And now they're adding this one to it. I guess. I don't know.
So
I
all
don't
the previous vaccinations
– I got mine because it was my choice. And it's not because you wanted me to or anybody else wanted me to. I did it.
It's a personal choice.
That's correct.
This is the thing about it. All of the other vaccinations that we're talking about have gone through the FDA approval.
For years.
Okay, so the question marks that people have, people can dismiss them. They can call people conspiracy theories. That is their right to have an opinion. But it's also the right of those to have an opinion that, hey, this thing hasn't been tested. There are now heart inflammation things that are showing up that the CDC is actively looking at. There are things that Dr. Fauci comes on almost every week, and something new comes up. People are skeptical for a reason. That is not a bad thing. It is if you believe one way.
Do your due diligence.
But what I'm saying is that's the purpose of a constitution. And the thing that you will hear people go to is public health. Now, when they say that, they really don't know what it means because they're repeating a narrative. They go around screaming things and saying things, but they really don't know what that means. That's okay. That's their right as well. The reason that this situation is so different is because it's been magnified by social media. If H1N1 back in 2009 had been in the social media environment that this was today, you would basically have maybe not the same hysteria, and I don't mean hysteria unfoundedly. What I mean is just, oh my God, we got to do this, we got to do that. H1N1 happened right after the Great Recession or during the recovery of it. Mm-hmm. Our country could not take another backlash. Okay, now I'm not saying that it's not as severe or was more or is more or anything else. But what you got to remember is we didn't shut anything down, and H1N1 without a doubt, hurt younger people vastly greater than it did. Older people were almost, I wouldn't say immune to it, but, didn't have the issues. But yet we didn't shut schools down. Listen, people say follow the science. That's great. Run to that. Use that if you need to. Whatever makes you feel happy. My thing is, what I've seen in my 49 years on this earth is, no matter what the situation, whether it be in the government or a sport or a job or anything else, you need to follow the narrative first.
You're going to like this one. Richie says the problem with that is how the information gets released. You can't just release part of the information. You have to wait until you have all the facts and the information.
That's not what happened. Richie's right, but that's not what happened in this situation.
Yeah. Well, it's like technology. You want to be on the leading edge, but not the bleeding edge.
Well, we always hear be on the right side of history.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like history's left up for interpretation in today's world. Mm-hmm. Everything is questionable. The one thing that will always come back to fruition and come full circle is truth. It will always come back.
Yes.
All right, it's truth.
Yep.
Okay? I mean, we hear it every day with the narratives. And look at the High School Athletic Association and the flunder flop that happened with wrestling.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Well, no, I mean, I was listening and watching.
Put it in venues that couldn't hold the crowds.
Well, again,
I understand not having the wrestle back because of the time frame. We're 3 weeks out of school. I get that. Just trying to get it done.
They gotta
but at
season
least
it for the
give
kids.
give you an opportunity for people to see you compete.
But Lanny, as an opinion, right, which is what we do on the show, all right, and I don't harvest ill will on others that disagree. This should have never happened to start off with.
I know that.
We were one of 2 states that did not play a fall sport.
I know.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So we're reaping what we're sowing because things are being allowed to do because of pressures instead of leading with truth.
Yeah.
Okay? We're leading with narratives, and and I'm getting back to sports on this. What did the Big Ten do in the fall? They said no football this fall. What did the players do? Mm-hmm. Basically, they told them, if you don't want us to transfer out right now in the portal, you better have a football season, because we didn't come to college to beat on the wall and all this other stuff. We don't work out like this. These other schools are playing. These other conferences are playing. You need to open it up and let us play football. And guess what they did? People will take what you allow them to. It doesn't matter if they're in charge or not. Okay? Mm-hmm. Great example. We're about a week into the shutdown. 3 weeks into it last year. Go to Lowe's and go to Home Depot.
Oh, I know. No.
Box stores, Walmart.
Yeah.
Now, Piedmont Hardware and Maiden can't be open, okay? But Lowe's can. What do you think Grant did as soon as he saw that? He said the lab's wide open. We're not picking winners and losers,
yep.
And not one confirmed case ever came out of there. Yep. They have a ventilation system in, filtration, air circulates through about every 8 to 10 seconds through the whole building. Everybody distanced, wore masks, but he didn't shut it down because he said, and there's a couple of times papers got brought in there for people that turned him in. Mm-hmm. One of those, but anyway, so point being, the government will do what you allow it to do.
Yeah.
That Constitution was written to protect us from the government, not to protect us from ourselves. Now, whether you agree or not with me, I don't care. Okay,
right.
That is my opinion, and I can tell you that yes, we all did our part. We shut down for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Okay, We did what we were asked to do.
I never shut down.
I wore my mask.
I never shut down.
No, I'm just saying. I wore my mask. Many, many millions of Americans did too. Some people didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Okay? But the bottom line is you see the repercussions that's happened with NC State, with the high school wrestling, okay, all the other sports. Or you say sports aren't important. Yes, they are, because they prepare you for life situations. And if anybody says they're not more important than this and that and the other, they have no idea what you're talking about, and they need to take it somewhere else.
Right now, more important than ever because of the emotional stability it's starting to bring back to life. Here, let me sum this up before I go to Charlotte's quote.
You can't handle the truth.
Okay, Jack says it best right there in A Few Good Men. I just want to get that in there, squeeze that in there right quick.
Yeah, but there's always the one guy, that comes in and he says after the fact, yeah, but you shouldn't do it this way. You shouldn't do it this way. You're the one that did this.
After's always easy.
Oh, yeah, the armchair quarterback.
Yeah, that's always easy.
It's incredible.
Let me give you this. This press release came down yesterday from the Charlotte 49ers athletic office. Charlotte 49ers are pleased to announce Greenlight, a customized set of tools to allow student-athletes to pursue opportunities associated with their name, image, and likeness. The Niners have partnered with Compass, CLC plus Game Plan, and INFLCR to provide solutions for education, monitoring, disclosure, and brand building. Greenlight is more than a brand name for our NIL efforts. It's in keeping with our philosophy to be a student-athlete-centered organization. This is our way of saying, let's go. This is Athletic Director Mike Hill. Let's embrace this new era of college athletics and give our student-athletes the best opportunity to develop and grow their own personal brands by partnering with these folks. These folks aren't doing it for fun, folks. These folks are going to make money off this. They are a quote-unquote agent for that student amateur athlete. The Charlotte effort was led by a special assistant to the executive staff, Sam Perlman, a former student athlete at Old Dominion and member of the NCAA Division I Student Athlete Advisory Committee, as well as a current member of the NCAA Division I Legislative Solutions Group. It was invaluable to have Sam lead this effort. His perspective as student-athlete, his role with the NCAA committees really gave us a head start in putting Greenlight together. Compass platform delivers education, monitoring, and disclosure in one easy-to-use mobile app that you're going to subscribe to and you're going to pay for. The app can be utilized to deliver educational modules to student-athletes, athletic department staff, donors, or potential sponsors as necessary. It also provides a centralized locations to track deals, deal trends, house contracts, forms, and other documents. Now, here's the only thing that I don't understand. They're not the only game in town. So what happens if another school, another athlete signs with somebody else that, that doesn't do it that way? Now, Lindsay had this comment. She said, who's going to tell all these athletes that just like getting into the professional leagues, they aren't going to take in cash just because they have a design? These people are supposed to help you evaluate your value.
So are they going to tell them you're not valuable? Is that what you're going to do?
There's going to be some feelings hurt.
Well, my thing is, I think it's just a great recruiting tool.
Yes,
I think it's the way to get
absolutely.
high-profile athletes to come on. I think they're getting out in front of it for that reason.
Absolutely.
I don't think it. I'm sorry, I'm not being skeptical, but I'm just being a realist.
Well,
while I'm being real today, let me just go ahead and keep it going.
I still don't think it's going to work.
Dude.
I don't think it's going to work.
You know what? If the market dictates, continued success with it, then it works.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing there, then it will just flounder and be a big nothing, just a big nothing burger.
And right here, this is what sums it up. This was last Thursday. Okay, this is from ESPN. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear signed an executive order last Thursday allowing the state's college athletes, including players on the nationally renowned Kentucky and Louisville men's basketball teams, to make money through the use of their name, image, or likeness. The Democratic governor said he took the action as a matter of fairness for college athletes. It will spare Kentucky's colleges from being at a competitive disadvantage with rivals in other states that will have laws enabling athletes to profit. That's what it's about.
Well, and another thing is, he may be the governor, but who anointed him king of Kentucky? Okay, this is the problem with that. That needs to be a legislative issue,
right?
That obviously started with the NCAA and some concerns they had, and then goes to a legislative body.
Well, it's because there were other states that their legislature had passed laws that take effect July 1st,
but
and
again,
Kentucky wasn't one of them.
But again,
yeah,
you can write orders all day. They are not law, okay? And you can sit there and I dictate this and I dictate that. You know what? That's great, okay? And if he may feel strongly. I mean, obviously he does. But there's a reason that we have checks and balances put in place, and apparently a lot of people have forgotten that. Well, they like to be told what to do instead of being informed.
I thought so much of it was when you did executive orders, it was because of an urgency that was an imminent threat to the people of the state.
But never let a crisis go to waste.
This is not
okay.
This is not a crisis.
No, it's not. There are people starving in the world. Okay, and we're worried about people getting trade off for their services and education and how they're going to get compensated for it. You get compensated just like when you're teaching, not while you're teaching, but when you retire. Yeah. Okay, it's the same premise with this. Any teacher that and I used to be a teacher. That you do not make good money while you're teaching. You have good benefits. You have things put in place. You have your summers theoretically off from that job. You may choose to work another. Okay, I used to be a teacher, 15. I mean, I know about these things. I grew up in a family of educators. But you do not make the money while you're teaching. You get those benefits in retirement. It's the same thing, okay? It's the same thing with college athletics. Your benefits will come from the experiences, whether they be good or bad, that you have in collegiate athletics. I know that my college baseball coach showed me many things about baseball. And the coaches that I had in the past and things about that, they've shown me even more so, coaches I've worked with, coaches I played for, coaches I've watched, how not to do things versus how to do them. Mm-hmm. That's the value of the experience. If they end up doing this, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Here's why.
Okay? It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is
this is why Kentucky did it. Because July the 1st in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, and Texas, along with New Mexico. But I list those states and throw New Mexico at the end because Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, and Texas, they compete in the same conference that Kentucky does. Kentucky couldn't get left out. Now, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Brandon brings up a great point. He says, once it's legal to profit off your likeness, could that change how even some aspects of high school and amateur athletics?
Yes, it will. And he's right because it's style-based. That's what we see today. Ooh, let me see the latest. How many 14-year-olds
are going to have shoe deals?
Let me see the latest hype video. Let me see the latest this. While all those things are fun to watch, they are all temporary. They have nothing to do with anything other than engagement, which is not a bad thing. The problem is people think if they do things like that or promote like that, that's going to bring championships to them. It is not. It is for engagement purposes. Engagement is temporary in most cases. All right? People talk about style versus substance. Michael Jordan, his style came from his substance. The problem in today's athletics,
I want to get paid before I do anything,
is the style precedes the substance, and then there's major letdown. Okay, that's that. And again, I'm not saying that we go back to yesterday. We always need to be trying to move forward, improving things, looking at things a different way. How do we take a look at this? How do we do? Yes, there's a lot of criticism that goes on. All right, but the same people that point a finger at other people about what they're not doing or what they're doing, remember, you got three of them pointing back at you when you do this.
That's right.
Okay, and I'm not sitting here lecturing, but I'm saying it comes and goes. But substance versus style is the great debate that can never, ever be overtaken in the long run.
Yeah.
That's why you and I would rather have a bunch of kids that we coach that listen to everything we say, They take it to heart, and they give us everything we got because we know that we will do just as well and likely have the same result as if we had these great players over here that think they don't have to do anything. Now, I've done, maybe good or bad in the past, whatever, but the one thing I can tell you that the athletes that played for me know is this: you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And I don't care how good you think you are, how good you are.
You've got their back.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm not spending a dime of time, of my time, experience, energy, anything, with someone that is in their early teens or mid-teens that thinks they are special and that, that they don't have to work at things. Or even if they're in their 20s when I coach, collegiate athletics. Because I tell them all, you're not the best player I've ever coached. You're certainly not the worst. You fall somewhere in between. So that doesn't put you in a special category. Now get your rear end out there and get to work.
Let me take a break. Back in a minute.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. Back. Glad to have you here. A couple of things that I saw that came out of this yesterday, and I honestly believe it's going to be like the Wild Wild West when this thing gets started up. And I got news for you folks. Nobody's going to be making money but the legal people that are in charge. That's what's going to happen. We were talking about this off the air. The NCAA is trying to get its own guidelines in place by Thursday when these laws take effect. The states are going to be able to do what they want to. And if the NCAA doesn't like it, they'll pull out. That's what's going to happen. They're giving the power back to these universities. The Supreme Court's already ruled, look, you're not above the law. You can't do this. Now, last week, Mark Emmert sent a letter to the membership urging legislative action on NIL rules, or he would take executive action. That's what everybody does, on a temporary solution. Now, the council has another meeting scheduled for tomorrow to vote. Nobody's saying what this looks like or anything else. But I think what I think's going to happen, I think you're going to see a totally different group appear besides the NCAA, just like North Carolina High School Athletic Association. I don't think it's going to be here in the future. You're going to have another group that takes it over that's going to be funded and established by the state, and the state will dictate to the schools that get state money, you can't take your money and give to North Carolina High School Athletic Association. You're going to join this association.
Okay.
Or you can't use our money.
Yeah, it's taxpayer-funded money. Okay.
And that's the way it should have always been.
That's the way they legislated it, and it is what it is. I'm hopeful this doesn't happen, but I think that this debacle that's getting ready to happen with all of this is going to be like the one and done with college basketball. The one and done for the greater programs has actually hurt the programs. You say, well, no, they get more money from TV contracts. Used to, Laney, when you were a kid or I was a kid or other people out there listening were kids, you could name, and I'm just going to use North Carolina as an example, living in North Carolina, you could name 7 or 8 players off of Carolina's team. You could name 4 or 5, maybe 6 off of Wake Forest. Certainly name the same off of NC State, and you knew Duke. Today, with the one and dones, people don't follow, they don't track, they don't keep up with it like they used to. They just watch instead of engaged. When you don't have engagement, all right, that's when you have lack of involvement to the depths of, where you have loyalty. That is what's going to happen if the individual universities don't get a hold on the, image and likeness. Okay? So I think they know that, and I'm certainly not saying it's good or bad. Whatever. Things are what they are. Even if I disagree with a portion of it or all of it, it doesn't make it wrong.
Now, Brandon made a comment, but this is where everybody's getting lost in the way that I understand it. Okay? Brandon said some schools may cut non-revenue programs to cover new cost or marketing if bigger sports programs. None of this money can come from the university. It has to come from third party.
But who's spending the money now? The universities will have to hire consultants to be able to come in and advise them on it.
No. That's just like an agent. They get a cut. They get a cut. That's where the kids ain't gonna get nothing.
No, I'm not talking about the kids. I'm talking about the university's going to have to hire people to come and educate the coaches. They're going to have to hire people to come and educate the players. You know, you have to be in front of this, or things will just come up, and then all of a sudden your great programs will just die.
But there's going to be no rules. That's the whole thing. There's going to be no rules because
right, but that doesn't mean you don't invest in it to try to get ahead of it.
Yeah,
education, you know, and understanding about what's going on, not the why, but the how and the what are the most important things. If universities do not invest into lawyers and other people that have expertise on how to help their – I mean, you have an old school coach out there that says, hey, you son of a gun, I don't care who you think you are, how much you like, you know, it's the guy's in their chair, you're going to do it this way. Well, then guess what? The kid's not out there working as hard, and I'm just giving an example, as he probably should, he or she should be, all right? And then all of a sudden they were 5-star out of high school, and they're not getting to play. You don't think there's going to be, in your terms, an ambulance chaser coming around saying,
yes,
hey, that guy didn't treat you fairly, or that coach didn't treat you fairly. We need to sue them. There are ramifications from this that are unforeseen at the time because of good intent and helping when the system already provides a trade for service, education for service. Okay, now I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just giving another point of view on it. All right, why are so many people interested in being fair to the kids? Because there's people that will benefit from it other than the players.
Oh,
that
yes.
is why this is a big deal.
That's correct.
Okay,
that's correct.
That is why this is a big deal.
And then Brandon said, remember the boosters who now fund the kid, who will now fund the kid and not the university, moving of the funds. And here's the thing. This is the thing to me, and this is where we got to. And it's kind of the same situation that the High School Athletic Association is in. Instead of taking a look at the changing landscape and how do we stay in front of it, we did this. You know, if I don't acknowledge that it's there, it'll just eventually go away. I'm just going to pretend like there's not an issue.
It does
there's
temporarily, but not long term.
But you can't.
No, I agree.
It has to some point be addressed.
I agree.
And that's what's happening now. And that's why the NCAA is in a panic because, holy crap, this is happening whether we want it to or not. We can't hold this off. The floodgates are opening up, and they can't figure out what to do with it. When they could have headed off all of this years ago by evolving with everything else that was evolving.
So what if a university takes the approach, we're not participating in this?
They won't be competitive.
I don't disagree with that, but follow this. What if a university takes approach and says, you know what, we're not really interested in pursuing this route. We want you to come here, you know, number one, to get an education like everybody says, which is not true, but they say it because they have to. And then number two, to develop your skill set to help you get to the NFL where you can really make some money for your image and likeness. Then we're going to focus on the now so you have the benefit of the later. What is the issue in today's world? Right now. Now, whether that's always gone on or is a popular saying now, you know, that may or may not be true, all right? But it's based on the ease or difficulty of the time, whether or not you want to earn something now. And again, it all goes back to style versus substance. Style is temporary, substance is sustainable.
Let me give you this. Kenny, good morning. This is out of the same article, and this is where they failed because nobody wanted to address it. Most athletic department officials around the company assumed that the NCAA or Congress would eventually prescribe a set of nationwide rules to guide them through the specifics of what athletes can do and provide the infrastructure needed to enforce those rules. But attempts to pass a federal law bogged down because of party disagreements and a previous more detailed NCAA proposal that was nearly 2 years in the making was fully derailed over concern that the blanket restrictions on how players could make money would violate antitrust laws, which it already has been seen. The Supreme Court says, no, can't do it like that. So in a confidential memo written last week, the NCAA's working draft of the M-term policy acknowledged that the current environment does not allow for us as much guidance as the membership prefers, and to do which it has become accustomed. Now, you made a point. You made a point that because of this hodgepodge that's going on, you made the point that is the only possibility to be able to control this collective bargaining, unionization of the players.
That's the goal, of this when it first started. The first thing that you heard when this started was players being able to unionize. All right? So that's the evolution of college athletics. It went from you're coming to school to get an education. Here's a scholarship. We would like for you to play ball for this university. When you factor in billion and even trillions of dollars at some point collectively into something that has grown like it has, then representation or the push for it will start rising because of the shared revenue. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or different. I'm saying that's where it is. And that's why if you're a university and you do not take the stand that we are not interested in doing this, we're going to do this instead, and this is the way we're going to do it. Come here if you want. Don't come here. This is what we're doing. If anything holds true in this world, if you're specialized in an area and you do a good job in it and you're constantly educating yourself, looking 10 years out at what it will be and how do I evolve my business model now, this is what the NCAA, if anything is true, Lanny, it's about the value that you bring and the perceived value that will be there in the future versus what is just right now and trying to appease the moment.
Just a quick take on the Supreme Court ruling with the NCAA. Will universities be able to make that stance and say, we're not participating in this? Or will that get pushed to court?
No, that's a great point, and that I don't know. I certainly don't think
with this ruling, have they lost control
that's
of what
a great
you
point.
can restrict
no, that's
because
a great
of the money
point.
involved?
And I just don't think there's enough of them out there that are willing to do that because of many factors. Number one, shaming and pressure, based on social media and other
Peer
things.
pressure happens at any age.
Right, and now it's just more.
group.
Now it's just magnified.
Yeah.
Bullying has taken on a different effect through words, which they said, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That phrase is gone because of social media.
Not today.
That's
Not
gone.
the chance. That's not the choice.
You need to
today.
go back to the sticks and stones.
Yeah. Well, I just, I wonder about that when you say universities can say, look, we don't want to participate in that. I'm just wondering if they can.
Well, I think that's something new.
They probably can because there's options. If you don't want to come here because we don't pay, you can go here.
Right. No, and that's it. And I think you will see, this is not going to be an issue, and very likely in Division III, NAIA, or even Division II for the most part. I think you'll have a few kids in Division II that may be able locally to do commercials or whatever. But this is going to revamp. College sports will be drastically different in 10 years. But, you can say that at any time period. But just because of this alone and the way people perceive it.
Well, and I'm still waiting to see.
And I'm not sure you'll have a lot of participation through the media or watching it.
And I'm still waiting to see the other part of this equation that has not come out, not been addressed, and it'll have to be. What about Title IX?
No, and that's what's going to happen. We saw what happened last year when universities used the excuse of COVID to start cutting programs.
Yeah.
Which programs were cut first? Which ones were cut first?
Yeah.
Didn't hear a whole lot about any other sports except, men's this, men's that. Okay? So, there's a lot that goes into this. And I'm not, again, I'm just throwing what happened out. I'm not saying one thing about it.
No.
What I'm saying is, there's a lot going on that things are going to start coming to a head on narratives versus, long time pushes for things, current popular narratives, and they're going to start butting heads. And you're already seeing it in high school athletics as far as gender rights, how people are allowed to participate, crossing certain lines, whether they feel like they're crossing or not, how it's perceived. There's a lot of things that are going on.
Yeah.
Now, there always have been in the world. They're just more magnified now by social media. I just, how is the image and likeness worked out for the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball as far as viewership goes?
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
How's that worked out? Some would say maybe not favorably, okay? Some would say, oh, look how much money they got. They got TV contracts. They're doing this. That's fair. But
it's not an endless pot either.
Style versus substance. When nobody's watching, nobody's going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to,
It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Yeah. Bill Klein says, corporate peer pressure is a force to be reckoned with, as well as always, follow the money. There you go. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Fabulous.